received a letter. This would need to go on an agenda if we want to take action.
Planning felt that we should allow them to continue with their plan. I think Mr. Davis should be able to stand that and too. I'm good with the recommendation from planning.
Reader's Digest story. They reopened the nursery after it had been closed for over 2 years because of problems with reacquiring it from the people they sold to. They have, since they moved in there in 2009, they're coming up on their 3rd year, which is the limit of the break the council gave them. 6 months out before the due date, they're allowed to make a request to either modify or extend the agreement. In your letter, they're pointing out some things they're willing to move ahead with right away. They do have a point. If you go out there and try to take that building up to current codes, they're going to lose chunks of their parking area. They're going to have major problems, not the least of which is if they start fooling with that parking area in the entranceway, they're going to bring GDOT into the fray, and it will accomplish nothing for them. They've got a good business. It looks good on the street frontage out there. From the staff level, we recommend approval.
But we need to put that on an agenda so we can vote for it. So
Yes,
does anybody have a
yes.
problem with that going on our June 11th agenda? So if you would just get us whatever information we need and put it on the June 11th. Does that need to have a first reading or go in front of Grant County Commission or just us?
As near as I can tell, it's dealing strictly with the council. So we just send it to y'all, and you make a call one way or the other.
Just add that to the 11th. Purchase of radio console for dispatch chief. This is in SDS money, is that right?
It'll be reimbursed. We have to pay. It's also going to be in the amended budget.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Stormwater ordinance, Mayor Pro Tem Wicks, I just asked, has Mr. Powell looked at it yet?
I don't believe he has. I've read through the ordinance. I don't see where there's any requirement for it. This says that I believe it says that the council may from time to time amend the ordinance, so we may have to add an amendment to it. Basically, all we're doing is in the 2013 budget, we'll be moving 2 people who now spend all their time doing stormwater and move their cost of the personnel to stormwater and out of the general budget. But of course, it should be the true accounting of what stormwater's cost is on an annual basis.
And then are you proposing moving some funding over to stormwater to pay for their
No.
costs? It's just going to come out of stormwater.
Right.
So Tony, can you review the ordinance, and if we need to make an amendment, and if not, that can be a suggestion in the budget.
Right.
If it's just a budget item, it's an amendment, can we put it on for first reading on the June 11th? Is that enough time?
Yes.
FY 2012 budget amendments. These guys should have all received a copy of this from Jan. We're going to go forward with a budget amendment beginning of June, but I think we put that off because of the personnel issue. Everybody's seen those emails with the paydays.
Actually, we're going to submit a new one showing the accruals, and it's virtually eliminated that part of it, where we were pretty much asking for about $374,000 additional expense. It's going to be reduced to somewhere, I can't give the exact number, but somewhere around 225, 250, and the bulk of that is the wisteria taxes and the junk property that we had to purchase. So it's virtually, well, it has removed all the personnel costs that were associated with the first round of things that we sent out. In fact, we probably will get about as much as a $30,000 credit against it when it's all said and done.
And so, but we're not going to vote on that amendment until after June 30th. Is that right?
Well, we can do it now. I mean, we can put it on the June 11th.
Let's put it, if no one has an objection, let's put it back on a work session for June 11th, so we'll have enough time to go over it, and then we can vote on it in July, if that's okay.
Do we have to go into July and do it in July?
I think we actually need to do it
I think that's do it.
Okay, so let's put it on the June 11th session, and then we're gonna have a special call meeting to vote for the 2013 budget, and we can approve the amendment when we vote for the 2013, if that's agreeable to everybody. June 11th, regular is that gonna take is that an ordinance to take a first reading and a second reading? So put it on for first reading and also on the work session for June 11th, and then we'll have the second reading and an approval when we have a special call meeting in June. Shirts for the GMA convention, I think Mayor Pro Tem Witz mentioned this to me. In the past, we've always gotten shirts to wear, so we all look the same with Snellville logo on it. We don't have any money. We've used our contingency budget in fiscal year 2012. We looked, it's gonna cost anywhere, depending on the shirt we actually get, it'll cost us anywhere from about $15 to maybe $20. We each get 2 shirts so that we'll have the same ones this year. We're asking for some money to be put in that amendment. In that 2012 amendment, we're gonna ask for about $500 to be put in that so we can buy shirts. It won't actually be $500, I can't remember the price, but just wanna let y'all know if y'all wanna order shirts, then we're gonna have to budget for that in that 2012 amendment. So is that something, staff's gonna have to go ahead and order those now though before we approve the amendment. So is that something everybody wants, shirts for the GMA convention?
We have them, it's just, we had 3
Well,
people
we're
down,
gonna do
you
the
know.
logo that matches the jacket, which is a little bit different, so we're gonna
I mean,
get.
I think that.
Well,
we go to-
since we already have, I'm sorry, Tom, but we already have, I mean, the ones that have been aware, I think what we're missing is 3 shirts.
No, we're gonna do the logo. If you notice, our logo has like that pointy thing on it, and the logo on the jacket doesn't, and I think the jacket logo looks a little bit better than the pointy thing, so we're gonna just do 6 shirts. It's $20 a shirt, so you're not talking about a big cost.
And again, I don't mean to speak out of place. I mean, I'm happy to pay for my shirts. I mean, if that's what we need to do. Make it easy.
I mean, I think we can come up with the money, it's just we use the contingency fee, so when we amend the budget, that's gonna have to be something we approve.
We'd have to add some money to contingency fund to cover it.
Okay.
We just wanna give y'all a heads up, because we'll actually order them before we amend the budget, so. Okay. Does anybody have any preference on their shirt as far as color or anything like that? And then so Melissa will send you out, we'll look at shirts, and then Melissa will send out an email to get everybody's sizes at the beginning, sometime at the beginning of the month. Anything else on that?
Thanks,
shirt?
High vis yellow.
Councilman Manuel wants a pink shirt.
No, I think that's Mr. Sabah. Pinky Sabah.
2013 budget, we need to give staff some direction on the 2013 budget. I know Mayor Pro Tem Wentz sent out a revision, I can't remember if it was last night or today. I briefly looked at it, I haven't had a chance to go over it, I don't think the chief has. He has
And I
some
met
questions.
with Tom and Bobby, and we're gonna make a few more changes, and we'll probably send those recommended changes out again, hopefully tomorrow, for sure Wednesday morning.
I'd like to see, is somebody going out of town this week? When are you going out of town?
Tomorrow.
When are you going out of town? When are you coming back?
Friday.
And then I'll be out of town the following week, and you'll be out of town the following week. I'd like to sit down and, there's a possibility I may not be back for the 29th special call meeting. That's just the first reading, we're not taking any action, but I'd like to maybe call a work session away from council, maybe we'll all go to dinner or something like that, and just sit down and hash out the budget and maybe some other things that we've all kind of been talking about. I don't know if there's some dates though between now and the next couple of weeks that we can do that.
Well, I mean, unless you do it this week.
Yeah, I'm available till Friday, 2 o'clock
I mean,
Friday.
when are we-
And I can,
We can do
and
it
if I,
after-
and if I can phone in, I mean, if I can call in or something.
We can do it after, the 29th meeting, because we're not taking any action on the 29th, and that would work better for everybody. We can do it maybe that first week in June. Does anybody have any conflicts that first week in June?
No, that first week in June is fine. That's one of the weeks we talked about doing some of the interviews.
The proposed budget that I sent out today, I made a notation out of there that I thought that the police salaries would be a substantial difference because of the way I did it. And we sat with the chief today. That's true, and he's gonna get those figures for me. When we plug those figures in and what we went through today, I think you'll know where I am.
And I had some questions for you, just on your email portion of some of your comments, but I'll try to email those back.
Okay.
Okay, so just look, I'll be calling a special call meeting then, and we wanna go ahead and set that date now, maybe June, June. Yeah,
We have
June
a
4th,
problem
having
with
the
June
art
29th,
opening.
if you're not gonna be here, we're not gonna be the third. Either the mayor pro tem will be in town for that meeting.
Oh, really?
I won't be getting back till like 7 or
I won't
7:30.
either, I won't be back in time.
So we move the date to
Can we cancel that meeting?
It's an advertised meeting for the budget, the advertised public hearing, so you have to go back and re-advertise everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to, you have to
meet to
Okay,
advertise.
so that,
Back
But if
we're
we
gonna,
have the meeting, I mean, we still have a quorum.
Oh, there you go. As long as you're not guiding the mayor.
They don't, they,
you're not gonna take any action though, so it doesn't matter because.
even if they just call the meeting and let we be, you can do your real meeting at any point, but your advertised meeting is sort of critical, at least to have.
That's the advertised public hearing.
And it's a public hearing,
Public
it's
hearing.
really to
It's
listen.
for the citizens to come and comment.
Yeah,
So who's gonna take the public comment though? Who's gonna run the meeting?
It's not.
well, you have to elect, they would have to elect the
So when-
presiding chair for that
And
meeting.
so are you gonna be here for that?
What
meeting?
time is
I
that
can be
meeting
here
start?
for that.
7:30?
7 o'clock.
7
It's fine, that meeting will last not long. because
I know, I just
typically-
couldn't make it,
Right,
so.
But typically that meeting won't last long.
Yeah.
And so when y'all get there, the four of y'all can vote on somebody to be an emergency chair. I think there's an emergency procedure in our charter. If the mayor pro tem are disabled or unavailable, you can elect an emergency chair. Nothing else is on the agenda, so we can't take action on anything other than the public hearing. We can hear the public hearing and we'll call a special call meeting for, how about June sixth? Is everybody in town June sixth? That's a Wednesday. Would you rather June seventh? Would that be better?
June 6th, fine.
June sixth, all right, we're gonna call a work session, special call work session for the budget on June sixth. The location to be announced, because I think I'd rather get away from City Hall so we can just get down and hash things out and not,
Yes.
but if that's okay, we'll go ahead and put everybody on notice of the June sixth meeting. Resolution creating Public Arts Commission, you guys all got a copy of that, I think I talked about that before. We have the Southern Gwinnett Arts Committee, that has formed, their numbers have dwindled. I've talked to them, I've talked to the art jurors about coming together and actually forming a city organization, so they'll have some city support. I think it fits in with our Market Street plan, it's one of the things that was recommended in promotion of the arts, asking to give them some money in the budget. Between the art committee and art jurors, there are 7 members. I think the art resolution creates a 9-member committee. Some of them thought that was too many, but I didn't know if anybody else had any other recommendations of 2 people to serve on there. So that's why I made it 9. If we want to put it down to 7 and just use the current steering committee and art jurors, then so be it.
7 would be more practical, and we have trouble getting that.
It's not it's a hard agreement.
I only have two things on here. One thing, I want to make sure that the council retains control of any public art that's put out in the city that is, it certainly can choose it, but it has to be approved by the council. And the other thing is that any money that, and I have no problem, I understand the point about making sure they have some funds in order to operate, but that any, those expenditures are monitored closely by the council so that we know what those monies are going to be sent.
And I think we need to assign a staff person, maybe Melissa, since she's working with the art jurors and she doesn't want any extra responsibility, but a staff person that's a liaison with them that can give reports back, or they can give reports, add them to our monthly agenda. I think once we establish them, if we want to come up with a written policy, we can do that at a later date, but at least this resolution establishes the group, and then if we want to come up with a policy for rules and regulations form, we can come up with a written policy. Is that fair?
I mean, the only thing, there was just a few things in the verbiage that I want to just work through in my head, get it, there's just some,
I've got a
nothing we
part.
can't work through. So.
On page 2, this is supposed to be an advisory committee, and yet it's a little bit confusing. It says city staff is authorized to alter permitting procedures in order to require participation with the commission prior to issuance of a development permit. Sounds like a strong arm tactic for them.
And we can, I think a lot of this language came from the city of Swanee, and in Swanee, they encourage their developers to contribute 1% to an art fee, and I think that's kind of, we need to check it out. If you have any suggestions or problems, I just ask that you email them to Tony, copy the rest of us, so that we can have a working document, to put on our next council agenda. Councilman Howard, with your permission, in the interest of time, we're going to walk forward to our next council meeting to give us a presentation.
We're above the IBM to get to the meeting now.
We're up against our thing there, Mayor, come on.
Interim city manager contract, Mayor Pro Tem Wentz, is that going to be on the next council agenda?
Yeah, I mean, we have the contract, it's, unless anybody has any problem with it, it's ready to go on, it's just put on the agenda.
Has it changed since the latest version that was emailed out?
The one I sent out today is the last version.
If there's any changes, we can send them out. It will require a vote of council to
I mean, I just don't understand.
We'll have to vote on it. It's not something we can redo. We have to have a vote, so.
Right,
Put it on the
we're
next
gonna,
agenda.
okay, but I don't think there'll be any changes on it.
I
unless-
said if there's any changes between now and then.
Oh, I
just
got
come
you.
out. Sorry. Get through it quickly. Lease for the community garden property, Mr. Powell drafted a lease. I think in that resolution, it wasn't actually binding that property could be used for the community garden, so I asked Mr. Powell to draft the lease so that we would have some legal documentation about their rights to use the property.
Could we just put this off and talk about more, because like the art commission, I think we want to set the Snellville, the community garden up, it's something like that. And they don't want to lease property, they want to be part of the city, and they're just, the difference between us and Swanee is Swanee paid for it out of city funds to develop it, and these people don't volunteer and donations, but it's still going to be, once it's built, it's going to be part of the city park, part of the city.
Why? That may create another monster as far as funding and line items, but it's not something we can't work out, so why can you meet with maybe Ms. Schultz or somebody from the community garden, and we'll put that back on a work agenda for July meeting?
There's no rush on it. And the other thing is the fencing, we're still waiting on getting the RFPs out on fencing.
RFP for the garden's not out.
Right, that's what I mean, so we have that out, so, everything's still working, I don't think it's time.
Blue Springs Youth Association contract. I asked Mr. Powell to look at this. We heard the presentation last week. We've gotten several emails today. I did go out to their practice one day last week. I think it was Thursday. What's happened is it's Snellville kids that are playing travel ball that now are having to travel to Norcross or DeKalb County to actually have their games. It's not their youth program, it's their travel program. They are asking us to rent the fields when they're not being used by Blue Springs, because now the park has become a rental facility, so they would like to be able to rent the fields. I understand that there's parks concern about the maintenance of the fields. I've been up there a few times in the past few weeks, and Councilman Saban went out there. We talked about it briefly. What I've seen when the fields aren't being used by the leagues is that there's kids constantly on the field, so they're still being used even if they're not being used by leagues. So this is an opportunity for us to consider whether we want to rent the fields and get some extra revenue for the city to these travel teams when Blue Springs is using it. I think Tony reviewed the contract. There is not a non-compete contract.
It's not exclusive, it is a field utilization contract, so it's
Can we
got
get more
hours in
input
there.
from Parks and Rec on it, just so that they can tell us how they're gonna facilitate that, if it's causing any headache for them? If we do it, and certainly, I'm all for it, we can share and do it, but let's just make sure we're not creating a monster for Parks and Rec.
And then Tia, if we can maybe put that on, also Tia on the special call meeting for June 6th, that in the budget.